Seadra was always meant to be a dragon. In fact, of all the Gen 1 Pokemon that didn't get the dragon typing, this one was the single most deserving. Now this might seem a little weird because so far in this series we've done a lot more dragon-like Pokemon. Pokemon like Gyarados and Charizard, even the argument can be made for Aerodactyl. Seadra doesn't really look like a dragon in any way, shape, or form, and yet in Gen 2, it got a dragon evolution in the form of Kingdra. But this raises a pretty big question. Why? Well, in reality, there is a kind of seahorse that lives off the coast of Japan that many people long believed was basically a baby dragon. In fact, if you look at a picture of it, it looks rather dragon-like. And it's clearly for this reason that in Gen 2 they decided to give this Pokemon a dragon evolution in the form of Kingdra. But Seadra also has some pretty dragon-like features when you look at its design, and it's kind of interesting to see how it would have performed if it had just gotten this typing in an earlier generation. So today we're going to see how it stacks up against the other challengers so far. Charizard beat the game in about an hour and 3 minutes. Our Gyarados beat the game in about an hour 24 minutes because it doesn't have a badge boosting move and it's in the slow level up group, and Aerodactyl was by far the worst of these Pokemon, though it did pull out a reasonable finish in our final run. But in particular, we're going to compare this run up against the Gyarados run, since the same dragon water typing means that this Pokemon effectively has no type weaknesses in Gen 1, since Dragon Rage was a fixed damage move. But will it be able to match up against Gyarados' better stats and wider move pool? Or will it get completely shut down in this challenge? Well, as the final run in our 4-part series, let's review the rules. Now, Seadra is the first monotype Pokemon in this series, but we're simply going to add the Dragon type as its second typing. All other aspects of their movesets are going to remain completely unchanged. They're just going to get the same moves that they would normally learn throughout the game. The Pokemon will be compared to its unaltered form in terms of time, in terms of final level, and in terms of score on my tier listing system. Because there could be cases where, for example, the Pokemon might take fewer resets to beat the game, but have to rely more on TMs since it doesn't have as many same type attacking moves. So we're just gonna have to see how it actually pans out. All of my other standard solo running rules apply. We're not going to use items in battle. We're going to run on 0 DVs or 0 IVs for those coming from later gens, so that we know that we're running the weakest possible version of this Pokemon. We're going to ban stat boosting vitamins like protein and carbos, though we will allow rare candies only when we get to the league. I will avoid taking optional battles unless they're actually necessary, but in those cases I will be leveling up to the next damage rounding threshold. If you don't know about damage rounding thresholds, it's basically every time you have a level that ends in 0, 3, 5, or 8, the damage that's done by the Pokemon goes up by a little bit more in those particular levels. Now, I predict that Seadra is going to be much better with the Dragon typing, though its move pool in the late game is rather suspect. But comment below what you think. With that, let's get into it. So here we have gotten our Pokemon Seadra. Here he is. Let's save the game. Let's try rival number 1 here. So what we found last time, the strategy is to smokescreen at this one a couple times. Let's just give him the smoke, and then we go bubble. The reason we got a smokescreen is because if we just let him tackle us and tail whip us, he will knock us out. But if we lower his accuracy, we can easily get through just like that. Very nice. But let's get into Viridian Forest. Now I am going to take an optional battle here, which is this guy. We're just gonna fight this guy. And it's because he's got the Metapods that are just guaranteed wins anyway. We'll just get extra XP here, and the Caterpie is not too scary anyhow, so we'll just wreck this one. And I think with a couple extra levels, we should be pretty golden, basically, in this next section. I'm guessing that it doesn't take that much, maybe 1 or 2 battles to make the next section pretty consistent. So here we're going to get to that potion. Let's go right here. Let's fight this guy. And here we're going to go all in on the bubble beams. Just all in. Well, they're not bubble beams, they're bubbles, rip. But here we can beat him easily. We get to level 8. Very nice. And now let's pop up to Brock's gym. Now I'm going to heal very quickly here. And my strategy is basically going to be to fight against the Light Years Junior Trainer. The logic for this one, pretty simple. We just want to be able to get some extra XP here against a fairly easy opponent. And we can see this Diglett's a 2-hit KO. Nice, we get to level 9. And here Sandshrew is also a 2-hit KO, so perfectly fine. We can move on to Brocky Boy. Let's see how he goes. So here against the Geodude, I'm just going to use Bubble. It's not quite a one-hitter, but it is a 2-hitter. Very nice. We get to level 10 and we get a Screech, and then we just one-shot there against the Onix. So no problem. We get to level 11 now. So we're 2 levels higher than we normally would be at this point, just thanks to the extra optional battles that we took. Now, it may seem a little strange to take optional battles for Brock when we have a super effective same type move in Bubble that easily destroys both of his Pokemon. They're normally 2-hit KOs even on minimum battles. But the optional battles aren't for Brock. The optional battles are for the trainers just after him. Because in spite of the fact that we can beat Brock very easily, we actually had tons of resets on youngster Shorty. You know, the guy who says that shorts are comfortable and easy to wear? Yeah, that guy is actually a beast in this one. And the issue is entirely the fact that our only attacking move is Bubble, which is only 20 base power. There's a reason it was removed in later gens. It's just pretty much a trash move. Fortunately, we will get access to Water Gun in this next section, and Misty is technically possible on minimum battles, but with a little bit of routing, I think we can make that fight a little more consistent. It's also worth noting that we beat Brock in only about 4 minutes, even with optional battles, and that puts us a full 15 minutes faster through this section than a Dragon Gyarados. In fact, this time puts Seadra just slightly behind Charizard, our fastest run so far in this Dragon series, but of course it beat Brock on minimum battles. Now I'm going to save the game and let's just see how we do against youngster Shorty here. I'm going to go all in on attack. I'm not going to try to mess with the accuracy strats very much here. He tail whips me and he gets a quick attack. Okay, he's doing decent damage here, which is kind of scary. Poison Sting also did a lot, and he does knock us out there. So this is clearly not perfectly consistent. We would still need to get some luck here. So here we get a critical hit right there. Much better range going into the Ekans this time, if he doesn't just go crazy hard on attacks. And there we do get through the second attempt. Now, another thing I'm going to change, I'm going to fight this bug catcher right here. He's basically free eats, and he gives some of the best experience for this section of the game, actually. And since 2 of his Pokemon can't even attack, you know, you just sit here and hold A and basically win. The other bug catchers in here don't give great XP, so we're just going to avoid them. But we will fight against this guy, this hiker right here. He's like the second best trainer to fight in this section, and he's just going to be a bunch of one-hit KOs, so we get some very, very easy XP in that fight. So now we can see we're just almost up to level 16, and this should make our ranges just a little bit better as we go into the next section. So I'm going to save the game. Let's fight this super nerd. Now, I don't know why I was continuing to use Bubble. Water Gun is the play. But here, this one is now a 3-hit KO rather than a 4-hit KO. We get to level 16. Water Gun on the Voltorb critical hit one-shots. And here, it looks like a 2 or 3 hit KO on the Coughing, easy win. And we get the Dome Fossil. So we've definitely improved this section quite a bit. Here at 8 minutes, I think this is much faster than before. Now Jesse and James time, let's just see how they go. I'm going to just spam Water Gun. This looks like maybe a 2-hitter, yes. We get to level 17 now. And this should be a 2-hit KO, very good. And now we get to the Coughing. Looks like a 3-hit KO at this point, but an easy win nonetheless. So rather than being kind of, you know, a coin flip to win there, we win the first attempt with no problems whatsoever. Here, I'm just going to go straight into Misty. Let's just see how she goes. So the Misty strategy is pretty simple. She's only going to use Tackle against us, so we're simply going to spam the smoke screens on her first. And it's because we don't care about X defend, and we just want her to miss as much as possible. Now we can go into our Water Guns, which aren't going to do a ton of damage, but they will whittle her down eventually. So we've just got to sit here and just hold Auto A. And it's actually easier when we get to the Starmie because she's 50-50 to use harden or tackle here. So as long as she's not hitting us with like some critical hit tackles, I think we'll be fine. But that being said, she's got us down pretty low here. So we need a lot of hardens and a lot of tackle misses. And she knocks us out on the first attempt. Okay, so we just didn't get the range there. But this is a winnable fight. It's just tedious. And it doesn't really matter if we like went and gained more levels. We're never going to have another move to use against her other than water gun and bubble. Unless we like wasted all our PP to get the struggle, and that just would be, you know, ridiculous. So here, let's try now. Let's see if we just get a better Star U range. If we do, we should be pretty golden. So we get through right there. Very nice. And now we're going to smokescreen like crazy on the Starmie. We don't care about the hardens or the X defend because we're using special moves. So if we were using a physical move, this would actually be a pretty tough spot because she would be always raising her own defense. But when she doesn't raise her defense, we just need to not get tons of tackles from her, basically, and not get critical hits. That's the real thing we don't want. We don't want to be crit by her. If we get crits, great. But it's super tedious. It's kind of like using wrap here, but we do get through level 19. No problem. We've beaten Misty. We can beat her on minimum battles. I've already shown that in the first attempt with this one, but it's definitely more consistent if you come back at a higher level. So cool. Now that we've gotten that done, we can come up here, heal up, and now we're going to make our way north to Bill's house. And this whole section is actually a cakewalk, I think. Let's take on rival number 2 first, but he shouldn't be too bad. And first things first, we are going to move our move Bubble Beam into the top slot, and let's just hold Auto A. It's not quite a one-hitter, it's a two-hitter there on the Spearow. Bubble Beam will one-shot the Sandshrew. Bubble Beam will one-shot the Rattata. We get to level 20, and now it's going to be a two-hitter on Eevee if we can hit it. There we go. Perfect. Easy win. Easy win at 12.5 minutes. So it might seem a little bit debatable whether we should have fought Misty first or Rival 2. The reason I went for the Misty fight came down to my testing. What I found was that we got significantly better ranges on all of the trainers going north to Bill's house by simply having access to the stronger move in Bubble Beam. So sometimes it's worth it to just take one kind of tedious fight in order to get a much stronger move that makes the rest of the trainers in this section significantly easier. But now we're getting to the point where we're going to have to face some trainers that have grass-type Pokemon, and this is where we might actually hit a wall with our Seadra. It's not because of the weakness to grass, we've gotten rid of that with the dragon typing. The real issue is that Seadra doesn't have any level up moves that are normal type in Gen 1. So it doesn't learn anything in this section via TM or otherwise that allows it to deal neutral damage in these fights. And that makes the massive power jump of going from Water Gun to Bubble Beam all the more important as we go into this next section. Because while you might think we would handle this section looking ahead to Rival 3 and Lieutenant Surge, we're actually looking past both of them to a much tougher trainer, the Wrapping Lass. But here's another spot for some optional battles. We're going to fight these hikers, and the logic here is pretty simple. They're not super strong, and they've got rock-type Pokemon that we can completely destroy. So there we go, Geodude gets wrecked. Now you might be saying, why are you taking optional battles here? It's actually because of the Wrapping Lass. She is an absolute beast in this section. Like after we get through Lieutenant Surge, which we can get through Lieutenant Surge on minimum battles, we can beat the Wrapping Lass on minimum battles too. It's just really inconsistent. So we'd much rather take this route right here where we get some extra XP and we're in a better situation in order to take that one out. So I'm going to fight this hiker as well, who, I mean, even Bubbles should just one-shot the Geodude. Look at this. Oh yeah. The Machop comes out. I'm just going to water gun it. Oh, it's not quite a one-hitter. Rip. But the Geodude can also get wrecked. Very nice. We just want to keep the Bubble Beams for this final Oddish Lass here. So let's save the game and let's just see how this fight goes. So first attempt against the Oddish Lass, Bubble Beam at this point is doing nearly half. We don't take that much damage, so it's a 2-hit KO there. We can Bubble Beam right here just to avoid any sand attacks. And then yet again, we should be kind of in a 2-hit KO range there. we get through that way easier. We're not going to learn Leer. It's completely useless in this run. We don't have any physical moves until at least when we get through Rock Tunnel. Basically, we're just not going to learn anything physical that's actually useful. We don't get Body Slam or anything like that. It's terrible, guys. Terrible, I say. We got to be careful about who we fight. But I believe, yeah, it's this guy who has the fire types. Very nice. So here, we're just going to beat up this guy's dogs. You know, we're going to spray his dogs with the water bottle. You know what I'm saying? So here, let's also fight this old man because he's got 2 dogs. And we can just take them out. We're doing this purely because of the wrapping last, because we just want a little more XP. And let's go to this old man's room. And he's got his little dog and pony show, of course. So just water gun the Growlithe. Let's water gun the Ponyta. There we go. Nice. Get the rare candy. Save the game. Let's fight Rival 3. So here for Rival 3, I think the strategy is pretty simple. Auto A on Bubble Beam. We one-shot. This will also be a one-shot. Let's see how we do against Eevee now. Not quite a one-hitter, but it is a 2-hitter. We get to level 27. Easy win. Easy win. So now let's just rub this guy's belly and get on out of here. So no matter what we do, I don't think we're ever going to get the wrapping last to be perfectly consistent without just massive overleveling. But a little bit of extra power and extra HP is going to help a lot. Like, she likes to do things to us. She likes to do things to us, guys. She likes to poison us and then use wrap strats against us. If we can avoid dying from that, we actually are going to be pretty smooth there, I think. But let's find out. So here, let's save the game. Let's try Lieutenant Surge. So the advantage we have here is that, of course, Thunderbolt is now only neutrally effective against us, but we still want to smoke screen him just because that Mega Kick can do a lot of damage. Mega Kick and Mega Punch. But here he misses a Thunderbolt, and he misses another Thunderbolt, and we win. So very nice. 4-hit KO there on the Raichu. And 21 minutes in, we have beaten 3 gyms. So very nice. So of course, I've set the rules so that we're not allowed to use rare candies until we get to the league. This would be a spot where we might even think about using a rare candy, just because maybe at level 28 we become more consistent. But let's see how we do right here. So first things first, against the wrapping last, I think we want to smoke screen here. Okay, we get paralyzed. There's nothing we can do about that, but at least we're not poisoned. The downside, of course, is that we're going to have to deal with the wrap strats here. The Bellsprout is set where it's basically 50-50 to go growth or wrap. So we want to hit it with lots and lots of whatchamacalls. Basically lots of accuracy drops to stop it from hopefully using wrap against us. Here we don't have a bad range against this Oddish, so we should just be able to sit here and spam Bubble Beam. And now it's this one again where we wanted to use growth and we're hoping to stop it from just spamming wrap here. So yes, it sucks that it's using growth because it's becoming more resistant to our moves, but at least we're not poisoned. The issue here is when you're poisoned and you're getting wrapped repeatedly, but if we can use accuracy strats to keep them from wrapping us, it doesn't really matter that much that we're paralyzed. It's just going to be tedious, but there we go. We do knock that trainer out. So now about 24 minutes of real time into this run, we now have about an 8-minute lead on a Dragon Gyarados. Of course, this lead is going to shrink as we go ahead, I think, because of the fact that we just don't have the moveset and the stats to keep up with opponents as they get stronger and stronger. But there is some good news coming. Of course, once we get through this next section of Rock Tunnel, we can get access to the move Ice Beam, which will help us with our greatest weakness, which is opponents with Grass-type Pokemon. In fact, we should be able to beat Erika pretty easily because we don't have a type weakness to her. But can we just take her on immediately as soon as we get to Celadon, or are we going to need some extra level grinding? So the Grass Blast should just be a matter of spamming Bubble Beam and hopefully... Okay, we got put to sleep, which is not great, but there we finally wake up. We just want to kind of whittle this one down, cool. And then we're going to zip back in here to go fight against good old Rock Tunnel Hiker, self-destructy boy himself. He wants to, you know, go boom boom. Let's save the game right here. Don't want to run into unnecessary trainers if we don't have to. And there we go. We've made it to the rock tunnel hiker at 26 minutes. Cool. So here, this is an easy one. Even bubble is strong enough for these geodudes. For the graveler, I'll do a water gun just to be safe, and easy victory. So now we can just make our way out of rock tunnel. No major problems there, which is very nice. So we're definitely making better time at this point than we were before. We get poisoned, but poison really isn't the end of the world here. The paralysis is much worse. So cool. We're just going to accept that we're flashing lights. Sorry, guys. You're going to get wrecked. Your eyes, my eyes, everybody's eyes are getting wrecked. But here we can do two things. We're going to get access to Swift. We saw this last time. It is the strategy against good old Sabrina. And now we can also cycle over towards the Cerulean City, or Celadon City, sorry, Celadon City, buy 2 fresh waters. We're going to give 1 to this little girl and let her teach us Ice Beam. So here with Ice Beam in play, we can now add it to our Seadra, and we're going to teach it over Bubble. And now we have a super effective move against grass types. Perfect. It's time to go to Erika's gym. And Erika should be a little bit better for a dragon. Let's see. So here, let's go for Ice Beam. It's clearly a 2-hit KO on the Tangela. Weepin' Bell hits us with Razor Leaf. Did a lot of damage, but we do level up there. Petal Dance knocks us out. So we lost the first attempt. Let's just try this again. Let's see if we get her on the second attempt. So here, Ice Beam. We get a Vine Whip that time. That's not too bad. Razor Leaf again, but this time no crit. So we're up to level 31. Oh, and we get Sleep Powdered. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. If not for the Sleep Powder, I think we just won there, guys. So here, I mean, this is clearly a winnable fight. We freeze the Tangela this time. We get a Razor Leaf. It's a critical hit, but I don't think that matters. As long as we don't get put to sleep. Stun Spore this time, and we just have to hit. There we go. So it took 3 attempts there on Erika to get her to go, but we do beat her on at our current level. And it's not terribly inconsistent. It's just about not getting bad luck. Like the second run, we clearly could have won if not for the Sleep Powder hitting. So here, let's go down to the 4th floor in the basement. Let's save the game. Let's come and fight Jesse and James. So the strategy here, obviously, is just to Bubble Beam. And it's not quite a one-hitter there, but Bubble Beam here is a 1-hit KO, and Bubble Beam 1-hit KOs. Very nice. So we can just pop right up here, save the game. Let's fight Giovanni at 36 minutes. Here we're just going to hold Auto A and easily just knock out the first 2 Pokemon. Now Persian should be a 2-hit KO, maybe a 3-hitter if we get a bad range. We got a bad range, but we get to level 33, so very nice. We can go ahead and dig out of here. And now the next step, of course, is to go to Lavender Tower. Here, Rival 4. Let's just take this guy on. Ice Beam, easily one-shots there. Bubble Beam is going to not quite 1-hit there. Bubble Beam is a 2-hit KO here on Shelder. Here against Sandshrew, just Bubble Beam it. And here against Eevee, it's going to be a 2-hit KO with the Bubble Beam. Easy win. We get to level 34 and we can progress. So now we just need to come in here. We're still not going to take optional battles. Let's just save the game before we take on this trainer. These Ghastly trainers can be just kind of random, but we knocked the first Ghastly out. It's basically a 2-hit range, but with a critical hit, we can just one-shot them. I mean, do I need to heal? I don't think I need to heal. Let's fight Jesse and James. So here in Meowth, get wrecked. Arbok is going to be a 2-hit KO. Very nice. Level 35 comes in, and now Weezing is a 2-hit KO. So a very easy victory against Jesse and James as we come up here and we save Mr. Fuji. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to use that Pokeflute. And let's just teach Surf immediately to Seadra over Water Gun. That is the strat. And now let's dig. So this Seadra run has actually been going pretty smoothly through the middle game, meaning we haven't lost too much time relative to our opponent Gyarados. But we might just be about to hit a massive wall, Koga. Because Koga's using Smart AI, but Smart AI is really weird in Gen 1 when it deals with dual type Pokemon. Rather than looking at both of our types and calculating neutral damage and things like that, it instead just uses this massive list, and whatever interaction comes first is the one that it uses. And the interaction of grass being super effective against water is fourth from the top, while all interactions with dragon are at the very bottom of the list. And since his first and third Venonat used the move Sleep Powder, which is a grass type move, they're just going to use it on us over and over and over again until they either put us to sleep or we knock them out. That made this battle an absolute wall for a Dragon Gyarados, but can we find a way through more efficiently, maybe using some accuracy strats with our Seadra? So first things first, I'm going to smokescreen on this one because it just wants to use Sleep Powder because it thinks we're a water type. So what we need to do is just prevent it from hitting the Sleep Powder because it's just going to spam that until it actually manages to hit. So we're just going to use some smoke screens. Now we're just going to knock this one out. The second Venonat does not know Sleep Powder, so we can just go all in on attack here. But now on the third Venonat, it's the same situation with the Sleep Powders. So I'm going to smoke screen it. Now let's surf. And here we can easily knock that one out. We make it all the way to Venomoth, where I'm also going to give some smoke screens. We do not really want to be hit by Psychic here. So if we can manage to whittle this one down a little bit. Now I'm going to go into Ice Beam, just because if we can get a freeze, this is a guaranteed win. But now with it on low health, I'm just going to go into the Surf and easily win that fight. We beat Koga at level 37. Really not hard. So with that done, technically, we can go and fight against Blaine if we want to. But first, let's go and at least check out Silphco and the rival. Let's just see how they look. So here in the Rival 5 fight, we're going to just Surf on the Sand Slash. That's an easy one-hit KO 100% of the time. I'm going to give a couple of smoke screens to Cloyster because it will only use Supersonic against us. So if we lower its accuracy, that should make this actually quite a bit easier. It looks like it's maybe a 3 or 4 hit KO, but we get a very nice range. Bubble Beam will finish that one off. Now Surf on the Magneton appears to be a 3-hit KO. Fortunately, we are not weak to Electric, so we tank 2 of its whatchamacalls, its Thunder Shocks. Now we're worried about the Psybeams here from this one, so I'm just giving it some accuracy drops. And we're doing a little over half with Surf, so we managed to knock that one out. Now let's Surf on Flareon. He goes Bite and he gets a critical hit. Of course. Like, we should have won that one on the first attempt. And what happens? We get the worst luck. Clearly. Standard. Okay, he's going for like Psybeam and Confusion, and then he knocks us out. So we can see, like, accuracy strats just aren't that great here. So we're just kind of stuck in this range of, like, we can win. You know, clearly we can win. We just need to not get bad luck. But at the same time, the bad luck is bound to come in because we're using accuracy strats. Okay, so we're going to get the 3-hit range on Magneton this time. Let's just go all in on... Yes, critical hit, and he potions, so we get through Kadabra. And now the Flareon, he bites, but this time we get a win. Very nice. So, yeah, it just took a ton of attempts there. But I was resetting because it just kind of makes sense that we should be able to win that fight. Like, the fact that we were struggling that much on that fight was kind of ridiculous. Let's get into the Giovanni fight here. So Giovanni shouldn't be that hard. He's just going to be the same as if we were not a dragon type. But everything here takes decent damage. We're up to level 40 now. Level 41, I believe, is when we get access to agility. And here we even one-shot the Nidoqueen. Very nice. So we're very close to getting access to agility here. We're at 846 XP off. But let's just pop upstairs to the 10th floor so that we can get access to the 1 extra rare candy that's up here. And now let's go ahead and dig on out. Now we could go take on Sabrina, but we don't yet have a badge boosting move. So I think the better strategy is to go and try to take on Blaine. The reason is because we have a 4 times resistance to fire moves, and we have a super effective move against him in the form of our Surf. Add that with the fact that we're at a slightly higher level than we were last time, I think this is going to work. And that's a no tombstoner. Let's go. Yes. So I'm going to save the game. Let's fight Blaney boy. So Blaine attempt number 1. I'm going to start with a smoke screen here. A couple of them, in fact. We get a tail whip that does give us more speed, but look how much damage we take here, and we just knock ourselves out in confusion. Like, that was just the worst luck. Let's try this again. So round 2, I'm still going to smoke screen him. Give him another smoke screen. Oh, he did a lot of damage there. And he hits the confuse ray too. He's just hitting everything. So here, let's just knock that one out. We get to level 41. We get to learn agility. We're going to learn that over smoke screen. Here, we knock ourselves out in confusion. So we just need better luck here. Let's go for just the all-in attack strat here, though. So he tail whips. I think that's fine. He quick attacks. That's also fine. So here, let's just learn agility over smoke screen yet again. This is the correct play, I believe. He growls. And now we're just spamming agility. He goes for the fire spin. But remember, we've just given ourselves more speed. And we get to knock that one out. Good. Nice 2-hitter there. Arcanine. And we get through. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes. And we're up to level 41. So we have the badge boosting move. We're not going to match the speed of a Charizard, it doesn't look like, because we're here at 54 minutes. But I think we can make this work. So with 6 gyms down and some kind of bad luck in a couple spots, I think it's time to now just look and see how Seadra stacks up against a Dragon Gyarados. And what we can see is that the time advantage that it had in the early game has completely evaporated. These 2 Pokemon are basically at the exact same time when they finally managed to beat Blaine. And it's pretty clear that it's because of Gyarados' better stats and move pool that even though it spotted Seadra a 15-minute lead at the very first gym, it's now completely closed the gap. So now it's all about how we perform against these last few gyms and the Elite Four to decide if Seadra can actually take down this challenge faster, and I'm beginning to lose faith that it is even going to be competitive. So we're going to teach Swift here over Bubble Beam. It is the move to use here on the Sabrina fight. Let's just see how she goes. So here, Sabrina, strategy is to just spam agility over and over and over again and let her flash you as much as she wants. Just keep flashing me. She's all about the flash, guys. Now we can Swift and one-shot. Swift here will one-shot. Swift doesn't quite one-hit. She uses an X defend and we win. We didn't even need to heal for that fight. That fight is so incredibly easy against Sabrina. Even on minimum battles, it's not bad for this Pokemon. The only issue is not having access to agility. So normally you would want to use some rare candies to get agility there. And then she's a cakewalk. So let's come and fight Giovanni. Let's see how he goes. If he goes badly, we can fight some of these other guys in the gym. But first, we just have to try this fight. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to just water gun or surf here. Oh, he gets a Gen 1 miss. Oh, and he double teams. But we knocked that one out, so we're going to level up right there. Now the strategy is to use our agilities here on the Nidoqueen. Oh, and it gets the paralysis. No. And we get wrecked on the first one because of the paralysis from Thunder. Oh, that was terrible. So we just have to kind of deal with it. Oh, Sand Attack Fissure. We're just getting terrible luck on this fight. Oh, come on. Come on, Giovanni. Don't do me like this. Oh, the fissures. Oh, he's just like, this dragon type shall not be tolerated in my gym. Oh, he knows how to beat Kingdra, that's for sure. Gen 2, he's just like, I'll just fissure it over and over again. Oh, and now he's double teaming. Guard specs, very nice. Now we get to not quite one shot. Rip. Nidoking. Let's see. Not quite one hitter there, but we knock it out. And now Rhydon. Surf. Yes. Oh, it took like 9 attempts there. That was stupid. We were just getting very bad luck on that one. Trust me, because without any optional battles, we can win that fight. But here we are at an hour. We have at least beaten all 8 gyms as we're getting ready to go to the league. So we just have to beat our rival, and then we should be good to go here. This fight's not perfectly consistent. Let's try it once, and then if it's not working, we may end up grinding here for a minute. So strategy-wise, we are going to set up agility right away on this one because the ranges just work out that way. Ooh, didn't need to set up that many agilities. But there, Stand Slash goes down. Ice Beam should just destroy Execute. We're going to Surf here on Cloyster. It looks like a 2-hitter. Nice. We level up right there just before Magneton. Oh god. We get Thunder Shocked, but that works just fine. Here we can... Oh, Swift, but she set up the... Or he set up the, whatchamacallit, the Reflect. Okay. So the issue here is that we level up right before Magneton, so the clear solution to that is just to put everything else in the PC and grind this, because we don't have the option of using rare candies until the league, and trust me, we will need them at the league. We can one-shot there, we can actually one-shot there, and theoretically we should now just surf here. We shouldn't even mess around with like agilities or anything. Okay. So now we get through to here. This is where I'm going to try to set up agility. Here we get Thunder Waved, but we'll just agility again. Let's see if Surf does not quite one-shot, but we do get through that. Okay. We can Swift right here, and we get Psybeamed and we go down. That's perfectly fine, because that's all kind of my plan, is to just get a little extra XP, and now let's see if we can get the setup off properly. So we're taking optional battles here, partially because of the fact that we actually already know that we need them. My testing so far has told me that we need to be over level like 65 when we get to the end of the game to have any real shot, any real chance. So here we can go Surf after setting up the agilities. And this one's not quite a 2-hitter, but it is a 3-hitter. Very nice. Good health onto the Magneton. We still get Thunder Waved. That's too bad. But we get a Reflect there, so we get to do decent damage here. Psybeam, but that's okay. Level 49 comes in, and Flareon is going to be a 2-hit KO after he uses Smog, so very nice. We finally win that fight. So as mentioned, I was able to beat this section on minimum battles in my previous run, but it was a full 10 plus minutes slower to get through this section of the game, which, considering we're playing at 4 times speed, is a significant time difference. In fact, over an hour and 4 minutes of real time means that we already know that we've lost this run to the Dragon Charizard. But like I said, we really want to compare to the Dragon Gyarados. Since it's running the same typing, it makes the most sense that if we can just match up well against that, we're doing pretty darn well in this run. And this Rival 6 fight is one of the spots where our Dragon Seadra actually has a pretty big advantage over its rival, because Dragon Gyarados struggled so much to get through Brock that it had to beat the extra Rival 1A, meaning it's up against the Jolteon team. And while Jolteon's Thunders are not super effective against a Dragon Water Pokemon, they're still incredibly strong, and since he uses Smart AI, he's just going to spam Thunder over and over and over again, so this became a nightmare fight for our Gyarados. So Dragon Seadra is going into the league with a full 7-minute advantage on Dragon Gyarados, and if it can just find a way to get through the league and the champion, it might take down the second best time of this Dragon type series. But the problem is that we don't do that much damage. And you might be saying, well, then why not just use Swift, right? Swift doesn't do that much damage either. So nothing that we have is going to do all that much to Lorelei's Pokemon. Normal moves don't do much because we have very weak attack, and water moves don't do much because they're resistant. So what do we do? Well, it's time to start dropping some rare candies. And this is the point where we really want to go quite hard on them. So we're going to learn Hydro Pump, and we're going to put that over our secondary move Swift there. So here we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to give her an Ice Beam just to see if we can get her to rest. Once she rests, we're pretty much in good shape. We really would like a stat drop from one of her other moves. Okay, so here when she rests, now we can just go all in on our surfs and we will knock this Pokemon out. If she uses a super potion while it's asleep, it doesn't matter. It just extends the rest. Now on the Cloyster, this should be a 2-hit KO. Okay, we don't really mind the Spike Cannon there. Here's where we want to go Hydro Pump, but we missed the first one. We get a nice crit the second one. And we just don't really like that she's set up all the amnesias, but fortunately she doesn't attack, so that's fine. We're going to go Hydro Pump on Jinx, which is a 1-hit KO. Hydro Pump on the Lapras, and we can see it's like a 3-hit KO range here. We get Body Slammed and Paralyzed, but fortunately we've used Agility. Oh, and we're just barely not able to knock it out, but we knock it out the next turn. Lorelei goes down, but we can see that's a very, very close range at this level. So here, let's heal up. Let's try Bruno. But here, Bruno round 1, basically we just want to spam the agilities, and now we can just surf. Basically, we don't even need to get too cute here. Surf is enough for all of these Pokemon, except maybe the Machamp. We might need to do a Hydro Pump, but let's just see. Hydro Pump there. Doesn't quite one hit. An Ice Beam will finish him off. Very good. So no problems there from Bruno, as we would expect. Let's see how we do against Agatha. So here, Agatha, her first Gengar does know Mega Drain, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to set up all of my agility spam right here, get all the badge boosts, and then let's go into a Hydro Pump. And it's not quite enough to one hit there, but we can Ice Beam the Golbat after she swaps, and then Surf right here. We will outspeed, so easy win right there. Now we can use Hydro Pump on the Haunter. We level up to level 63 here, but Hydro Pump does one-shot Arbok there. Hydro Pump does about half to the final Gengar, and another Hydro Pump ends it. Agatha, first attempt victory, no problems whatsoever. We're here at 1 hour and 14 minutes. I'm not sure how we're stacking up against the Gyarados at this point, but I think it's pretty close, so let's just go for the Lance fight. Let's go. So here, what we're going to do is set up agility first. It's just going to Dragon Rage us. And now let's just see what Ice Beam does, and we get wrecked. Okay. So the better strategy is most likely to come in here and just spam the Ice Beam first and see if we can get the setup that we need. A freeze obviously just guarantees a win here, so we at least get through the Gyarados. Ice Beam here does one shot there. Ice Beam one shots there. Here's Surf. We get a wing attack, but we get a Surf, so we defeat Aerodactyl, and then Ice Beam one shots the Dragonite. Yeah, we don't even need to set up badge boost there. Easy win. We've made it to the champion at level 64. Let's just see if we can win at this level. So first things first, let's try the champ. We're going to set up agility first on the Sand Slash. And Slash and whatnot are kind of bad, but Poison Sting, he can use that, and we can get through that fight. I'm going to Hydro Pump here on Alakazam. It's not quite a one-hitter, but it got it down to really low range. He did use a full restore, which is just kind of bad luck. Here we can Ice Beam. We just missed. Okay, and an Ice Beam's going to be a 2-hit KO. We might be able to get through with a Blizzard there. Let's see how the Hydro Pump does here on Magneton. Not quite a one-hitter, and we missed the next turn. Okay. We got this. We got this. We can totally get this. So agility, a Fury Swipes miss. Now Fury Swipes. Oh, we've got really good HP on the Sand Slash. Let's Surf here. Here I think we Hydro Pump. Oh, it just barely fails to knock it out, but we get the Kinesis miss. Blizzard here. Gets the crit, yes. Here we're to Magneton on really good health. Hydro Pump. He goes Thunderbolts, but now Surf, I think, knocks that one out, yes. Cloyster. Oh, he gets the Spike Cannon on us, but here Hydro Pump is slightly less than half. He gets the critical hit. Are you kidding me? If he doesn't crit there, I think we had him, and then we missed the Hydro Pump too. Oh, that was stupid. We were so close. The Cloyster's just going to want to use a Spike Cannon on us over and over again. So yeah, we kind of need more HP when we get to the Cloyster. Okay, let's try this again. So Sand Slash, we can easily knock out. Here, we have to Hydro Pump on this one. We almost got the range. There, we can knock that one out. Cool. Missed the Blizzard, of course. Of course, we hit Blizzard when we had Kinesis on. We miss Blizzard when we don't have Kinesis on. But the critical hit knocks out the Magneton. We get a miss with Hydro Pump here, though. Come on. There we go. We get through and Hydro Pump. Flareon goes down. Yes. There we go. An hour 25:44. We knocked this down from 2 hours and 10 minutes to an hour 25:44 with this strategy and beat the game 2 levels lower. I think that is a more optimal run. So what did we find out ultimately about this Pokemon? Well, I want to see exactly what the time was with Gyarados. Oh, it was just a little faster. It's there at about an hour 24:30. So an hour 24:30. This was super neck and neck with Dragon Gyarados. Dragon Gyarados beats the game at level 66. We beat the game at level 65. They perform very, very similarly. That is insane. That is insane to me. So it turns out that the move pool isn't actually a massive consideration here. The bigger consideration is, I guess, by the time you get to the late game, you just have to get the right ranges on the champion. But hey, okay, we beat the game with our Dragon Seadra. So there's one last question that we need to answer, guys, which is how do we do in the fight against Mewtwo? Let's just go beat Mewtwo so that we can claim ultimate champions rights here. It says 5 hours of real time or of game time, an hour 25:44 of real time to beat the game, and a score of 87.45. Not too bad, not too shabby, guys. Really not too shabby. 11 optional battles, 38 resets. I know some people don't like the resets. I get it. I get it. For me personally, I'd rather take the resets than go in over level when I can see that the fight is possible. I always feel bad when I beat Mewtwo with free strats, but I remember in Pokemon Stadium when you used to do the Mewtwo fight after you complete all the cups and, you know, you get the round 2 Mewtwo fight. And I went in there and I would totally just use the most broken strategies, right? The toxic stall strats with the double teams, the just going in there and freezing him, trying to get status on him, just like ridiculous strategies. But here we are, we've made it to Mewtwo. Time for Seadra to have his chance. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to go agility. Oh, look how much damage that did. Oh no, he goes barrier. But now Hydro Pump does about half with a crit, and we get wrecked. Wrecked, I say. Let's try this again. So here, Mewtwo, he is super strong. He is super scary, and he just psychics us. Like, oh my gosh. Come on, just use Swift. Come on. Hydro Pump. Oh, we're going Surf. No, it's because my battery came unplugged. Oh wait, but are we gonna win this one? Oh, no, he heals. Hydro Pump. One more Hydro Pump. Oh, there we go. So we have beaten Mewtwo with our Seadra. Look at this. Level 65. Final stats, 108 attack, 148 defense, 133 speed, 146 special. We've got Surf, Agility, Blizzard, and Hydro Pump. I know Surf and Hydro Pump, some people will be like, what? But there are some spots where the extra power of Hydro Pump makes a lot of sense in this run, especially when you don't have a great attack stat. I mean, that attack, you know, it's quite a bit lower than our special. It's almost, you know, like 30% lower, I'd say, than our special approximately. Like, that's not good, guys. You don't want that. you don't want to mess with that. So yeah, we'd much rather go with the special moves, even when they're resisted. When we got stab, it kind of makes up that whole difference there even more. But that's my word. Anyway, guys, that does it for this one. We are going to get this edited up, throw it up on the channel. I'm going to release these Seadras for the channel members first, of course. And let's just see how it goes. Anyway, see you in the next one. Later.